I feel like it goes with
Also,
the thing you're it goes with the thing you're saying.
Anyway.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a special episode for you. I'm with someone very special. This is my friend Zena, Zoe, Mrs. Casaro. Woo. Welcome to my channel, friend.
Thank you for having me. I'd like to thank my mom.
I know you've been dying to be on here. I know all my friends are dying to be on here.
No, truly no.
She begged me actually.
She's paying me for this. I'm just saying.
Jokes. Today, I want us to talk about, have a nice chat about adult relationships. So, friendships, mostly. Mostly. But just relating to people. Sometimes it's people from work. Sometimes it's not really friendships, but just what it looks like relating with people now that we're a bit older. So, Zena and I have been friends since high school, grade 8, Form 1. Really.
That's like what, 2008?
Why are you exposing us like that?
Listen, we're actually not that old.
I don't know.
People are 30 in this world, I'm just saying.
30 is not a bad age, folks.
It really isn't.
But it's old. Just joking. We've been friends since then, and it takes a lot, right, to maintain any relationship.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that what it took when we were in high school versus what it took during varsity days and post-varsity days looks quite different. So I want to talk about, I don't know, the hardships, the ups and downs, some tips, things we've learned on this journey.
Okay.
I think I'll start off by saying that something we were having a chat about is the idea of having ebbs and flows in any relationship. That a lot of relationships are kind of like the sea, to me at least, right? In some seasons, they're closer than ever, we're talking constantly, and then sometimes there's an ebb, but it doesn't mean that me and the person aren't good friends anymore. It's just the seasons that we're in, we're not quite aligning, but we're still solid, right? But sometimes you move to a different continent or different stages in our lives, we're just not communicating as much, but coming to accept that my friends are not only my friends when we're talking all the time, seeing each other all the time. It's okay.
I think for me with relationships, I've never really tackled them from a perspective that, okay, I know there's this thing that people always say, right? People are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, and I think it's true. I don't know. But I've never really tackled friendships in a perspective that, and then you're my friend, then you're no more my friend. Like, if you're my friend or a person in my life, you're in my life forever. But I think growing up...
There's a saying in our language. I think that's been rebound.
I don't think that... I made it up. I've never heard that before.
I made it up, but I feel like it goes with the thing you're saying. It goes with the thing you're saying.
Anyway... That's true. But I think growing up and realizing that, I don't know, there's this weird thing nowadays. I don't want to say with our generation, because then that makes us seem like we're old or young, whatever. But like where people have a notion that this whole thing of then throwing away people, like then cutting people off or...
Canceling.
Yeah, but sometimes not even from a bad... like perspective, just to think that, okay, we're no longer friends and I don't know, we just went our separate ways. So I think it's only then when I then had to start thinking intentionally about, okay, so how am I keeping people in my life and what does that look like?
Okay, I have a question. Are you saying you had an experience where someone did that to you?
No, I didn't have an experience. Being exposed to that kind of, realizing that kind of culture or that kind of thinking that people had adopted then made me think. Because I had never really thought about, I just always, if I know you, I'll know you forever and I'll love you forever and you'll forever be in my life. So then when I came across that kind of thinking, then I was like, oh, okay, so people can cut you off or, I don't know, you can disconnect, life can happen. Also because I thought like that because I'd never been in a situation where then life happens along the way. You were young, all your friends, you go to the same school, you live in the same
See them
place,
all
same
the
church,
time.
you know.
Yeah.
So you don't have a reason to then a friendship not working out or things happening and then you lose connection. So I think growing up and then being exposed to that, then you're like, okay, so it can happen that people grow apart or you're just in different stages and all of those things. So how do you then be intentional with maintaining a connection with people? Yeah.
Do you have people that you feel like you want to have a certain amount of connection with all the time? So you're like, okay, with these ones, I can't afford to not be talking to them regularly.
Yeah. But that's
That's everyone. Okay. In high school, she won the award for being a social butterfly. So
that was not real. I feel like
I mean, this is her right now talking about how she wants to talk to everyone all the time.
No, when I can.
Okay, so you were talking about seasons now, right? Spaces where...
Yeah, that's what I then realized growing up, that sometimes because you're with certain people like a lot, then that can also make the connection easier as opposed to when you're far away from people. Because then you had to grow up, people went to study in different countries, different time zones, you know, and then now it becomes a bit tricky when you need to then maintain friendships and make friends also.
Yeah.
I think that was my one challenge in my big age, making friends, because I'd never had to do that for the longest time. So when I had to go away, that was tough.
How'd you do it?
I don't know.
But you did, right?
Yeah, I think I did make friends, but it was just difficult.
Is this now, are you talking about university or like working?
University, I had friends. Yeah, now working now.
Okay.
When I had to go to New York, and then it was just like, yo, what do you talk about? Like, how do you connect with people? You have to introduce yourself and just open yourself up to a connection.
Right.
Yeah, that was. But anyway, I digress.
Some of our background is we have for me, I think I'd say a large group of friends that have grown up together and we're quite close. And a lot of us know within the group that, okay, these are my core people, right? I think going to varsity especially, I was making friends, but a lot of the time I was comparing my new friends with my old ones. And I know I'm not the only one who did that. Maybe you were fine, but a number of us would be like, yeah, I like you guys, but my real friends are back home. And just feeling almost like no new friends, low-key. I'm just talking to you because we're together, but no new friends, old friends only. And people do feel like that, right? Because they're scared of trusting new people. And what do you think of that?
I think, okay, I have two thoughts. Thought number one, I think it makes sense in the sense that I'm one person who appreciates history. And I think that's one reason why I've kept most of the friends that I've had since forever, you know, because I really do feel like you were there, we've been together, you're my person, you know, there's history, there's depth. You and I, there's history, there's depth. But also I think growing up again, I've had the privilege of meeting really amazing people and having really great connections just by opening up to new. I believe that in every season of your life and in every place where you are, there's a reason, right? God plants you in that place, in that specific space for a reason. Yeah. So, and then he always then provides a community if you're willing. Yes. I think for me, the people that I've met, I've prayed for, and God provided. I remember when I went to varsity, I was really intentional about praying for friends, because it was only Pure and I who went to Rhodes at that time, and Pure, she was upper campus and she lived, you know, so I had to make friends. Yeah. And I prayed about those friends, and God gave me really amazing friends that I'm still in touch with even now. It was just, you know, so I think had I come into that space with the mentality of no, you friends, you're not my real friends. My real friends, it would have been, I would have been robbed, of experiencing, of learning, of growing, and just seeing God in a different light. Because I believe that people are an expression of God, right?
Yes.
So when you meet different people, you just meet a different side of God, or, a different expression of God.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you rob yourself of connection.
Yeah.
Of connection. And also because as we're growing up, you're experiencing different seasons, right? So there are people that you meet, for example, at work, you change a job and you meet new people. So if you go to that space and you come there with, I'm not here to make friends, it makes life very awkward and lonely. So
it is really tough. I've had experiences as well where I don't know. I have some friends that I've prayed for, but some honestly just came to me, but I know it was God still. Different spaces in university, also when I was in school of ministry, I met some people that I connected with so deeply. I was kind of surprised, like I didn't expect to feel like, wow, we could actually be sisters.
Yeah,
and it's
so
like
crazy.
It is crazy
when it's so deep, and you're just like, this is insane. Because I've known you for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But you're my sister.
Yeah, Shim, it happens. So it keeps me really open to the people that God is gonna bring into my life. I'm aware or open to the fact that I could meet a new good friend at 40, someone who's gonna be with me for the rest of my life as well. Like, I don't know. Maybe not everyone has had such good experiences.
I was about to say that. I'm like, I think it's easy for we speak from a place of privilege, because you've been in a place where you've had a good community around you. But there are people who've had terrible experiences in terms of relationship, betrayal, and just trust, breaking of trust. And how do you then build from there? How do you open yourself up from there? I'm asking you.
I think you mentioned something important earlier about praying for friends. That's a real thing. So I do remember a moment where I prayed for friends. I'm not even answering your question yet, really.
Yeah, okay.
But at some point in varsity, I was like, I haven't had close guy friends around me. I think I had like only one guy friend, and I was like, this is boring. I want more guy friends, God.
Like boys.
I love boys. Anywho, that prayer wasn't answered immediately, but recently I was checking the list of people I contact most often, like right now in my life, and about 5 of them are guys, and it's so crazy. But I was so grateful, like, God, I have brothers, like these are my friends, and I remember praying for that. I really feel like there's nothing that we can't pray about. People
so
belong
true.
to God. Connections are God's idea. Friendships are God's idea. So if you feel like, man, I really need people for this new place that I'm in, I need people that I can actually trust, then pray about it. And also, I was listening to Candace Johnson the other day, and she was talking about, if you have hurt that comes from a relationship, so a friendship hurts me, the only place where I'm going to find full healing again is in friendship.
That's right.
A different friendship.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. So if we close ourselves off with, I'll never do it again. You're never gonna see me again. I'm out of here. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Of course, you need to be wise. You can't open up to every person. But if God guides the right people to you, how you're gonna learn what real friends feel like is being vulnerable to real friendship, right? So if you've been hurt, pray. Work through it with God and your therapist if you have a therapist. But then don't shut people off. Don't close them off when you do have an opportunity again, because the things you were disappointed by, whatever, it won't change. No matter how much you pray or heal or read books, only experience with another person again will then bring the full healing.
And also, I think we need to know that the fact that you're putting yourself in a position to love deeply means that there's a chance of you being hurt very deeply.
There's a likelihood, not even a chance. It's a guarantee of being hurt deeply. But it's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So
that's just part of it.
Yeah. In any relationship, that is, be it a romantic one, be it a friendship, even family, you can still get hurt. And you just, because even in the relationship and the friendship, it's not going to be pretty every day.
Yeah.
Some days you will have moments where maybe you're clashing and you have to sort things out, you're hurt, whatever.
Yeah.
But even in those moments, the option is never to throw the person away.
Yeah.
The option is always choosing connection.
Yes.
Even in times of conflict,
Yes.
in times of disagreement.
Yeah.
So it's part of it.
Yeah.
Hurt in relationship, pain in relationships is part of relationship.
I definitely think so.
Yeah.
I know, again, you're always trying to have a balance, right? This is not to talk about people who are actually abusive. Like, if you're in, that's not the type of thing to tolerate. But you need to know, I think maybe sometimes we come to a place where we don't want to tolerate any discomfort or any
Especially
conflict.
now.
Oh.
Like, people, there's 5, how to identify toxic traits, 5 what everywhere. There's a thread, there's a advice, there's and it's like, I mean, I'm not against it. People are toxic. You need to protect your space, protect your energy, blah blah blah. But also, we're so quick to just, not giving people grace, not even confronting things, not even talking about it, to be like, hey,
I don't ask questions. You make a mistake. If a person shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
How?
You didn't ask. No, I get it 100%. I feel like I think we need to all be honest about the fact that we're not saying, I don't believe with you there's a chance. Being vulnerable means there's a chance you'll be hurt. I think you're guaranteed to be hurt.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily intentional pain that people cause you. The people you love can cause you unintentional pain.
That's true.
Because we're humans, because we're different, because we communicate differently.
Exactly.
There's going to be misunderstandings. There's going to be times where I assume Zena was thinking something and I was completely wrong, and then that hurts her. Like, it'll just happen. It'll happen.
And also because as people, you bring yourself to a relationship, right? And you yourself, you're made up of your experiences, you're made up of your insecurities, you're made up of your beliefs, things that you've seen. And that also influences how you navigate through a relationship, friendship, whatever. Because you bring who you are, and we are made up of our everything that makes us, what you believe in, what you've been through, what you've experienced, what
where
you know
at currently, your mental health.
Exactly. So that also influences the way you interpret people's actions. So you might find that even then you are being hurt by something based on the eyes you're choosing to view them from. So you're guaranteed to be hurt somehow, somewhere. That's why it's important. Communication and all of those things that then come into navigating relationships. But the thing of just cutting people off and closing yourself off, I really feel like you're just robbing yourself from just experiencing true connection, friendship, the beauty of having people to do life with. It's so nice. It's so beautiful.
So beautiful.
Even in times where you cannot even expect it. I remember I met a friend recently, so unexpected but so necessary for that point in my life and moving forward. And it's so ridiculous. I always say how I can't believe I met you at the time when I needed you, but I didn't even know, and imagine if I was just like, hey, I'm old, I'm not making friends, I wouldn't have been able to, So friends are necessary in life.
They are, guys. And it's not an extrovert, introvert thing. We all need to connect with people.
That's so true. Even with old people.
Yes.
I think of late that's something that I've really just found an interest in, having connections with old people, like just having chats. They're so wise and they're so loving and so willing to even share like things. They just always want to chat and talk, and it's so beautiful. I love that. That's my new thing now.
I love
connecting
with
old people,
older people as well.
and kids. At some point, I think I'll try kids, but for now, they kind of freak me out sometimes.
I think I actually am into kids right now. Like,
Yeah.
Man, it's great. I don't want to cry.
Boys and girls.
Boys and girls. How many boys and girls? Okay.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. What about acquaintances and work relationships? How do you create the boundaries around, okay, this person won't get that close to me? It's not everyone that you're welcoming into your life and keeping close
so
to you.
true.
What does that look like for you?
That's a bit of a tricky because, like I said, I'm just always like, everybody come. But yeah, I think that's something that I also had to learn in my grown-up age. That just because you having good times and good vibes with someone doesn't always mean come for a sleepover. You know? So
Ish.
yeah, I had to learn that you can create boundaries. And even I think also just allowing relationships to unfold, because sometimes you can get a bit too excited, be like, oh my god, you're so great, come, let's hang out every day, call me every day, and then boom, you know. So allowing a relationship to just grow, you know, because that's when you also get to see people and be like, you're my work, you're my colleague, we chat, we're good, but there's just certain parts of my life that you won't have access to, and that's okay. Like, it's not because, I don't know, I'm just trying to put a wall or what. It's just, it's my choice, and that's still okay.
That's
so
okay.
Putting that boundary in what you share, what I allow you to have access to, and what I allow you to even speak into, because I think sometimes people just need to know that, okay, we're colleagues, but you're not allowed, you can't say stuff about my marriage, or, you know, because you don't enter. You don't enter there. So yeah, I think creating boundaries is essential. Sometimes you can say them out loud if it gets there, to be like, hey, I think we're just work friends.
Have you had to do that?
No, never.
Would you honestly do it if you had to send a text?
To be honest, I don't think so.
You would just...
I don't know what I'd do.
Just exit.
It's my husband. He'd know what to do.
That's nice.
I don't know what I'd do if I was in that situation, because confrontation, my good Lord. Help me, Jesus.
Recently, something I've learned in my grown-up friendships is, again, a lot of these people I've been friends with since I was a kid, right? But navigating the changing dynamics as we're getting older. Yeah, because the dynamics change, for many reasons. Something I've had to learn is that the balance between, okay, this is toxic, this is actually toxic stuff that's happening, or this is normal pain in a relationship. Okay. Because I'm a believer, right? I always felt like, I'll have extra grace, like I should take anything in a friendship. But something I had to learn is, it's kind of a heavy one, but the Bible talks about the devil being an accuser. I've had experiences in a friendship where the conversation comes to accusation about character.
Oh.
Yeah, like, this is the kind of person you are dishonest, or, right? And sometimes your friends, it is good to have your friends call you out. But I remember after this conversation, I couldn't stop thinking about it for months, because I was like, it made me question so much about myself. It wasn't about a single action that I'd done, like, why did you do that, Rosanna? That's inappropriate. It was about my integrity in general. Like, have I been lying about who I am? Thinking about, like, the past year or so. Like, it got that deep. And I had a conversation with my sister, my wise sister, who teaches me everything.
The wise
Yolanda. And Yolanda was just like, did your friend say stuff that was true? Is the stuff true? I'm like, okay, if I'm being honest, no, that's not true about me. Then she was like, then don't take it too personally. Don't keep thinking about it. What you need to know is that your friend was probably going through something where they were triggered. So they overreacted to what you were saying. Maybe they had a pain with someone who changed or whatever. And so when you were talking about changing, it kind of blew up. So you need to understand, okay, your friends aren't someone that you can trust with that part of your life right now. They are not able to handle it with grace. They're not able to see you correctly. And so just put up a boundary. But again, a boundary it's different from a wall.
Yeah,
where,
I like that.
If I see that you have more capacity, and I'll check at some point, if I see that you have more capacity, we'll revisit it. But while you don't have capacity, it's okay for me to just be like, oh, even though let's say this is a person that I've been able to talk to about this stuff for 10 years.
Yeah.
If we get to year 11 and you can't handle it right now, it's fine. I'll just put that boundary and keep the friendship. I think, it's the concept of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Don't get rid of the whole friendship because it just feels like, why can't you see me correctly? How dare you? It's like, no, it was just that moment where you couldn't see me, but I'm going to keep everything else that makes sense about this friendship. Again, ebbs and flows. I don't even know. This person might be someone that I can revisit this with in 5 years and we connect over it deeply. So it's okay.
And it happens in life that you are at a certain stage where even your friend maybe is in a season of life, whatever, and you guys are relationshiping, right? And you just feel like, Eddie, I can't handle this part of you. It's
That's happened to us. The year was 2015. Y'all can guess who couldn't handle it.
You honestly, as I was saying, and I think at that point, sometimes when you don't have the capacity to handle something that's happening in your friend's life or and they're always just wanting to come and tell you, and then you're just like, I love you, but this, I don't have capacity for it. And can we navigate the friendship and just maybe this part cannot be part of our updates or our live chat. But I don't know how that looks like. Maybe someone can feel like, but then this is a big part of who I am. Then that's.
But we have to have boundaries still,
Yeah.
right? Something that happened to me is, I've had friends who struggled with depression in the past, and obviously I want to be there for you, but sometimes the conversations would become so dark, so painful, and even so hopeless that I just felt like, friend, when we talk, I don't even know how to pray for you. I don't know what to say to you like this. So I'm sorry, but can we not talk about this specifically just for a bit? It's really hard, and I explained why. And I don't know if it makes me a bad friend for it, but I know I was always in a much darker place when we were having that chat. So
I don't think it makes it different because you were also struggling with it, right? So it would have been like a big trigger, and then now we're all.
It's all.
Now we're all just in this dark place. So yeah, that kind of thing is also necessary relationships, I think, because it's not all the days when you have capacity for everything. Sometimes you might also be going through a whole lot, and it's just like, wow, now the friendship is becoming exhausting. You're not even feeling like I talk to you because I want to be refreshed, and but talking to you is like, when you count all the stresses of life, the friendship is there. What's the point?
Literally, like you see the text and you're like, a voice note going now, 3 minutes 47 seconds.
Delete WhatsApp.
Get rid of the app, throw the phone out.
Delete WhatsApp. Yeah, so, but yeah, friendships, they're beautiful.
They are. And I think we have so much to look forward to.
Yeah, it's the changing, man, for me, I think. And the weird thing also is that there's no manual or book. So even if you look at maybe your parents or whatever, I know my parents have had people that they've been with like since high school and whatever. Mostly my mom, because she's more of a social butterfly. My dad. That's strange, but maybe it's a men thing. So I think I also get to see from that okay, maybe as life goes, because people change, seasons change. You're in a specific place, you're living in a certain place. For example, you have friends who are there. You're a mom, you're a wife, and everything changes. But I think you always have those people. You just need to know how to navigate, even when things are changing, because life does change
a lot,
all the time. Lot. Like something as small as a job.
Yeah.
Can
change everything. Yeah.
Then now it's like.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think my final thoughts are the gift of self-awareness. And once you gift, it's a gift to the friendship, right? Just what we were talking about earlier with setting boundaries and stuff. I make our friendship so much easier because I know what's tough for me right now and I could communicate it.
Yeah.
A lot of times we want our friends to figure certain things out on our behalf, and obviously no one can read minds. Even if your friend knows you well, they can't do your inner work for you. So when you put in that work and you put language to it, then it helps so much.
Yeah, it really does. I always say, I don't know if I read it somewhere, then I just made it my own. I'm sorry if I'm plagiarizing. But that your personal development is the best gift you can give to the people around you. And personal development has a lot to do with self-awareness. You wanting to be a better you by understanding your traumas, by understanding what makes you react the way you do to certain things. Why do you hate certain things? Why do you love certain things? What are you scared of? Your insecurities, all of those things, your triggers, it makes you a better person, because then you're not quick to accuse people of, you're making me, what, because also people cannot make you anything, So when you understand all of those things, you then become a better friend, a better colleague, a better partner, a better mom, your sister, whatever. So self-awareness is key.
Yeah, and knowing your needs, because geez,
like how can you expect people to fulfill your needs when you don't even know your needs, number one, and then you're not even articulating them? Like to be like, I like it when you call me at least once a day.
Yes. So that I can also say, because this is important, I can be like, you're a friend, Mina, I'm busy, or I hate phone calls, so I can only manage once a week. Then we both find our expectations are
perfect. Because then now I'm expecting you, I'm like, you don't love me because you don't call me. And then it's like, oh my God.
Yeah. So communicate, guys.
Yeah.
Do you have any final thoughts, closing thoughts? On
thoughts.
Friendships, adult relationships.
Don't be so quick to throw people away. I think but I don't know if now I'm imposing my own thoughts and beliefs on people, but I just feel like, don't be so quick on throwing people away. I believe in fighting for relationships, fighting for people, because it matters, man. Like, we shouldn't be so quick to be like, I'm alone. I'll die alone. I'll spoil alone. I'll die alone. It doesn't really have to be like that, We must just give people grace, and also inviting God into those spaces, into relationships as well. And also reading. I think sometimes we're so quick to what he always says is that we go to school and study for whatever, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years for a profession. But when it comes to important things in our lives, like kids, marriage, relationships, you just read one book and then you're like, okay.
You read an Instagram post, Sissy. Watch a YouTube video.
Oh, yes. Instagram. Oh, how can I possibly forget? You see an Instagram, a 3-second reel. 3 seconds, that's too short. A 3-minute reel about how to choose people, whatever. And then you feel like, okay, I know how to navigate this whole. So get the resources. There are so many tools, good tools about navigating relationships and friendships and all of those things. Especially if you know that you've been hurt in that area, you're broken in that area. Get the tools that will help you do it well, to navigate it well, because then you're a better person for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tie into that by listing some resources. If you're into podcasts, The Kylo Show, Keep Your Love On by Danny Silk. It's also a book. Really good. Like
Yeah.
I could read it every year. Really, really good. The Connected Life, Abby Stumble and Justin Stumble, her husband. Okay, those are the two I can think of for now.
I can't think of any.
Interesting books I've read on friendship, or I don't know. I don't know if I've read books. I'm a podcast person, but
Of late,
yeah,
you used to.
I used to read. Yeah, but yeah.
Holly Frederick also writes some nice things about friendships here and there.
Mm.
She has gems.
Nice. So follow her as well, guys.
Mm.
Thank you so much for the chats. This was
Welcome.
lovely. I hope we'll be seeing you again on this channel.
I hope so too. It'll depend on the bill.
Okay. All right. Alrighty, folks. See you on the next one. Goodbye.